Today is March 28th, and this is our monthly Board of Library Trustees meeting. Call the meeting to order. Our first item on the agenda is to review and act to approve the minutes of our last meeting of February 28th.
Great minutes.
Yes.
And a motion to approve them.
I have to say, it was nice too to be able to go to Zoom.
It was nice to go to Zoom. It was.
We didn't have to cancel the meeting.
Right.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, because the library was closed that day.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item is to review and to act to approve the report of the director's activities for February of 2023.
Looks good to me.
Mhm.
When I reviewed it, it looked fine. Of course, I can't get into anything right now.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Let's see.
Are you online, Joan?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Is this the legislative meeting?
No,
No.
the one
Oh,
that
it's
I mentioned
taken.
here is at Worcester Public
But
Library.
not with
Yes,
my
was in
phone,
the State
but-
House.
Okay,
Yeah.
there's library gas. All right, now let me try again.
Well, once again, you've had a busy month.
Yes.
Priya, are we under the same, in the administrative structure, the same thing as the recreation department? I noticed you met with the recreation
Yeah.
director.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's actually good, we could probably coordinate well with them.
Right, yeah, as she's a new director, I just wanted to meet with her. And I also had Sonia and the youth services librarians, a couple of them, and we just talked about, possible collaborative programs and stuff like that, so.
Yeah. And they
she's
already
in-
help us with that story walk, don't they?
They do, yes, the Parks and Cemetery, though I think now that's a different division, because again, it's different now. She's the Recreation Director, and the Friends of the Library and the Recreation Department do collaborate for a summer music concert at Dean Park. So we do that, but I also spoke about, possible programs or something that we could do together, partnerships.
In that reorganization, what happened to cemeteries? They were always in with recreation, and I thought
Yeah.
it was because there was a lot of grass everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's parks and
It's
cemeteries
what with parks
now.
and.
Parks and
okay.
cemeteries
Oh, parks
and
cemeteries,
recreation
okay.
is separate, yeah.
All right, so-
That makes sense.
Okay, did
Priya, oh, sorry, can I, just real briefly, can you describe that effective leadership training that Melissa graduated from?
Oh, sure. That's an annual program that the town offers, and they ask department heads to recommend, anyone from their department. Mike has done this before. Sonia had done this effective leadership training. When I became the assistant director, I had done this program. So this year I recommended that Melissa do that.
So it's nothing new, you've had
Nothing
experience
new,
working
but it's
on
something that the
this.
town offers.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we need to approve it? And I'll recommend approval.
Second?
all those in favor?
Aye.
Next item is to look at programs and services. Director's report of programs and services offered in February.
I have a question.
Mhm.
What is the Shrewsbury Sweetheart Pageant practice?
Yeah, I wondered that too.
Do you know?
They do something during the Spirit of Shrewsbury, I know. That
Oh.
there's like a talent show, a
Oh,
beauty
okay.
contest for young girls. And this was probably the practice for that.
Just was curious. Interesting programs.
Yes. And all of the non-library programs, groups were free. None of them had to pay for the meeting.
How is the memory cafe attendance these days?
It keeps varying. You know, we think, oh, it's a nice day, we'll have more people. We can't predict that. It's about an average 8 to 10 people.
Is that what it was pre-pandemic?
No, pre-pandemic we had 20.
Yeah, so it hasn't.
Average. Yes, it had picked up, but somehow, I don't know, the weather being what it's been in the
Yeah.
last few months, maybe that
Maybe it will
has
pick
been
up.
a factor, yeah.
Do we do any outreach for that group?
We do, we share the information with other memory cafes in the whole state actually. There is a directory for all memory cafes, so we keep posting on that. And then we have an email list of over 100 people on the list, special listserv for that, so we communicate via that. We keep getting new folks, it's just, I don't know, different things, I guess, that, you know, determine whether a person can come in on that particular day. And we don't ask for registration, it's a drop-in program.
Is there an actual Rubik's Cube club
Yes.
that meets regularly?
Yes, and it's run by a high school freshman, I think.
Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. So many little kids, I've been wanting to take a picture of that.
Oh,
And
that
we
must
probably
be
need
fun.
permission.
Yeah.
But little kids, older kids, all of them come together. There's a lot of
That's
good
great.
That's great.
participation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That has really stood the test of time.
yeah.
Hasn't it?
Yeah.
Back in the day, they used to make Rubik's Cubes with little stickers on them.
Right, and you just-
And we thought our daughter was a genius because all of a sudden they all came in order, not knowing that she peeled off the stickers and did it that way.
She was smart.
She was smart, she really did.
Yeah, I knew to do that much,
Either
right?
that or it says something about her parents.
Yeah. Oh, true.
All the take-home kits, they've been wonderful.
They're still popular.
Yeah.
Though people can come in and do
Yeah, but
programs,
it's
they
fun.
still want to
It's
pick up
like
stuff.
dessert at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any other questions, comments?
No?
I was just wondering about Tech Tuesdays. Is that a regular thing every Tuesday?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it sells out, because I tried to register, and I couldn't even get on the wait list.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
You should have mentioned something.
Yeah, no,
You should
apparently
have
not, there's no perk,
mentioned
yeah.
Oh. Okay. Once again, the library is a very vibrant place, as evidenced by this
Sure
list.
is, yeah.
All right, moving on to financial and legislative, we need to review and act upon a year-to-date report.
I was just reading.
I don't have
got
it.
that.
No, I don't have it either.
I don't Oops, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't, forgot to send that.
Well, you want to just summarize it for us?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the most important thing, we always look at library materials to make sure we are spending that. It's at 80.4%. The total budget, we've spent 90.9% with the encumbrances for salaries and all of that. And we are at the end of March, so I think
That's good.
Sounds good.
it's more, yeah.
I'm sorry, the materials budget is at what percent?
80.4%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the end of the fiscal year is
June
June
30th.
30th?
30th.
Mhm.
You never know whether it's June or July.
It's June 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're right on track.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are on track. I'll share it with all of you later, I'm sorry.
Okay. So given that we need to act upon that report as well, anyone want to make a motion?
I motion to approve it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Deb, I just wanted to mention another thing,
Yeah.
I didn't put it in the agenda. It's, last year in 2022, the board had approved state aid funds for the Memory Cafe and the English Conversation Circle. $10,000 had been approved, and in 2022, we spent $6,300. So we are carrying over that money for 2023 English Conversation Circle. And the Memory Cafe, we got donations. We received from the Turkey Trot Committee and an anonymous donation. So I think we are all set for 2023.
Oh, good. So you won't be asking for that
Yeah,
approval
I
because
don't
it's
think so.
covered?
Yeah, I think it will be covered.
Okay.
But if it comes to that you need it, you should ask.
Sure,
Oh,
thank you.
definitely.
Yes, thank you.
But isn't it nice that the Turkey Trot Committee?
Yes,
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
generous of them.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to facility, equipment, and grounds. Anything?
We are in the process of applying for an LSTA grant. It's called Creative Communities, and we can request up to $30,000 if it's awarded. It's pretty competitive, and Mike and I are working on the grant application right now. We thought it would complement the funding that we've received from the ARPA funds for the technology. So we will have a lot of new technology, and we want to be able to offer more programs. So we are reaching out to area colleges and faculty from the Holy Cross and WPI and other places. And of course, the schools will be contacting the school departments that work with STEM programs, and I think they have so many different clubs in the high school. I was looking at their website. So we want to be able to plan robust programming with all the technology that we will be getting.
Awesome.
That's great.
I think that Clark took over the Becker College game design
I think they did too, yeah.
program.
Oh.
So that might be
Clark,
interest
you said?
to
Clark. Clark University,
Mhm.
okay.
I think they absorbed
Oh, okay.
that, so that
I think
might
that's the
be
only
of
program they
interest.
did absorb.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is this a
Good to know.
statewide grant or is
This
it
is the LSTA is the Library Services and Technology Act grant from the NBLC.
Okay.
We regularly, we've been receiving those grants for various things in the past few years. The last Creative Hub, not Creative Hub,
Community
Civic
Hubs?
Hub,
Yeah.
Civic Hub grant was the
from-
last one that we received,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Great.
And this is just for programs.
This it's called Creative Communities. It could be whatever we want it to
Okay.
be. We are still, trying to figure out exactly what we're going to be doing. Programming is one of the things.
But that has to be really specific, right? When you're
Yes.
applying for the grant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to specify, yes. We could pay stipends to people. We could hire someone to, help us run programs, various things.
Open a marketing library.
Yeah.
Then we have to sustain that funding.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
not a one-shot deal.
Yes.
When is the grant application due?
In a couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
We know what you'll be doing.
Mike is doing the major part of the work. Mike
Yeah,
and
when I was
Sam.
here on Friday, it sounded like they had just gotten a new 3D printer and
Yes.
a fabric printer as well. which
Yes,
sounded
did
pretty
you
exciting.
see it? It's upstairs.
I just overheard the conversation.
Yes,
What
we're
is
all
it? Is it
very
fab-
excited. A
fabric?
new 3D
A fabric
printer.
printer?
Textile
Oh my gosh.
printer.
Where is
Wow.
that?
It's upstairs in the learning lab. After the meeting, I
Oh,
can
cool.
Wow.
show
Yeah.
all of you.
Mike told me it was too big to take home, so.
Yeah, he told me there's a 3D printer there which is bigger than you.
Yeah.
It's not really taller than me, but it's a big one. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
exciting.
Good.
Exciting things, great.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the agenda is gifts and grants.
No, that's what we just
was
did.
So we just kind of
That's
say
what we-
gifts and grants, but no gifts.
Nothing else, no.
Okay. Personnel, a few new.
Yes, so in the past 6 to 8 months, we've had 3 resignations, page resignations, high school students or other folk who had resigned from the position. So we're hiring 3 new pages. We just completed the process today, actually. And the 3 people that we have hired are Mark Adler, Larry Cortez, Cortese, and Anne Comba. And they will all start next week,
Great.
next Monday.
Good.
Are these full-time? No, they're not.
These are pages, so it would be about 9 to
19
12 hours
9 to 12
a
hours.
week.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And also, we have a
Retirement, yes. Deb Mayo, who's worked for 35 years at the
Oh,
library
wow.
as an outreach librarian and done an excellent service to the town, is retiring. She will be retiring in August.
She'll be missed.
She will be
She will.
missed, yes.
So will that position be posted?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
And one other sad
Mm,
resignation is our own Nancy Gilbert.
Yes, yes. I am very sad to leave the board, and it has been unquestionably a real privilege for me to serve the library in this capacity. But we are moving, and alas, you must be a Shrewsbury resident. So there are 2 years left on my term, so I assume you'll be entertaining letters of interest.
Yeah, so I notified our town manager, Kevin Mizagar, of I sent him the letter. And my understanding is that we should ask for people who are interested in having their seat for until I believe the next election.
Right.
I believe that's how it goes.
Oh, okay.
And I just wanted to get input from the board as to how long we should seek, what time frame should letters of interest be received. I'll throw out a pitch and see what you think, but I was thinking maybe by the end of next week, which I think is April 7th, I'll have to double check that. If anyone who is interested in filling this vacancy, if they could send a letter of interest to me, Deb LeBeau, here at the library. After we have some names, we then need to meet, I think Claire, you probably know this better than I do, with the Board of Selectmen who actually appoints the
They make the appointment,
person.
yeah.
Yeah,
But don't we interview and recommend,
yes,
and then they need to make a
yes,
final
it's a
decision?
joint meeting, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, a joint meeting with the Library Board of Trustees and the Board of Selectmen. So Kevin is aware that this needs to be on their docket, so to speak, to discuss.
So the way it would work, is this correct, that they would appoint for the next year? And then somebody would run for a 1-year term?
Yeah.
Then in a year?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So they don't change the ending?
They don't
term.
change
Right.
the rotation of
Right.
elections. I reviewed the Mass General Law about this issue, and I was unclear as to the reading of that. It mentioned that an election has to take place at the next annual election, but it didn't indicate what that meant. I'm interpreting it as being in our annual May election, but not sure. So they were going to actually talk with town council about that, if it's one in the fall or if there's one the one in May. But at any rate, we need people who are interested in filling Nancy's seat.
And I will
So
just
that's
say
now.
that is how I got on the board, was
That's right, you
by
did.
filling a
That's right,
vacancy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did as well.
Yep.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the selectmen just did the whole thing. I didn't interview at the library. Did you interview at the library?
I don't remember,
It's
so
a
it's quite a long time ago.
One of the
But I think I had to
selectmen,
have,
I was appointed.
and actually it was, our director at the time was Bonnie O'Brien.
Oh, wow.
And she encouraged me to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So I don't remember, but I think I had to
Probably.
do a letter of
Of
interest.
interest, I think at
Yeah.
least that.
Yeah.
So if people are interested, please let us know so we can go
Yeah.
forth with
I
this.
think the town posts this, and, they have postings for people interested in serving on boards, and I'm
Okay.
sure it would go on to
I'll
that
follow
same
up with
list.
that then and just
know,
make
it's-
sure.
yeah.
What do people think though of the 7th? Does that sound
Is that enough time?
reasonable?
It seems a little.
Not
I think
far
that's
away.
short.
Too short,
Yeah.
you wanna go the following week, the
Yeah.
14th?
A
Yeah.
couple of weeks.
All right, so by April
Just because of people that
14th?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Well, conversations are gonna start to be going around about the elections, and so that's actually a good time for
Yeah.
people to start
Yeah.
Right.
thinking.
When's
about
the
that.
election?
It's the first week of May, it's May 2nd or 3rd
Okay.
or something
Yeah.
like that. And the ballots are finalized now,
Yeah.
Right.
yeah, so
Right,
Do we know who's running for the library?
I can't remember the name, yes, we do.
yes.
Yeah.
How's
It's
this?
Lisa and I and Barb.
There's another.
There's
one.
another
Barbara
Barbara
Trudell, I
Trudell,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she'd be good.
What's the name?
Barbara
Trudell.
Trudell.
I don't know her.
I don't know her either, but I asked at the
I
town
know her.
clerk's.
I think she's got lots of spirit.
Good.
And she's involved in that group that does kits for young women.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah,
yes,
Days
yes.
for Girls?
Days
Yeah,
for
what
Girls,
is it called?
yeah. Days for Girls.
Yes, she's involved in that.
Yeah.
I think she was very instrumental in starting
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so if maybe all of us could think of somebody who
Mhm.
might not think of doing this otherwise, we can approach them, but.
Sure.
We'll say then April 14th, and then I'll be in touch with the Board of Selectmen and we'll schedule a joint meeting to appoint that person. Okay, very good. Well, I know we all wish you
I know.
well and easy
Yeah.
packing days ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the fun part. huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bittersweet, yeah.
I know, sure.
Yeah. All right, moving
Well, you can
on.
always come back and visit.
Well,
Yeah.
Aren't you still on?
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
am,
still-
I
yeah.
And that's a
am,
good
I'm gonna.
segue.
Yeah.
That is a good segue, is that the next thing?
Foundation, yeah.
I am actually going to remain on the foundation board. I'm actually co-chairing with Mo Boisvert, who is our most recent board member. So Mo and I have been, and Priya, have been brainstorming a bit to come up with some concrete plans for the future of the foundation. So I will definitely still be around.
Great.
And on the Friends board.
And on the Friends board.
Oh, Nancy.
We won't let her.
Before
You're
I
gonna be
get
too busy for-
myself too entrenched in the Berkshires.
Do you want to mention anything about the Clinton person, or? Oh, maybe it was you. Do you want to mention anything about the Clinton Bank?
Oh,
Interest, or?
yes, actually, a couple of things. Yes, Mo and I met with the new branch manager of the brand-new Clinton Savings Bank, which just opened a branch in Shrewsbury next to the Market Basket. They just opened this past week, or last week. And they are, the manager in particular is very interested in helping on the foundation, so we're hoping
great.
she will
Hmm.
pursue that. And, yeah, so hopefully a new partner with the
Yeah.
future of the
Yeah.
foundation. And the other thing that the foundation talked about was collaborating, when the foundation does its distinguished speaker series, that where appropriate, depending on the topic and the speaker, that we would like to collaborate with the high school. So if it's a topic that would be of interest to, maybe an AP English class about writing, or, whatever. And Mo has already spoken with our school superintendent about that, so.
That'd be good.
Excellent.
Yeah, so they would, in theory, the speaker would present a program at the high school with a particular group of students, and then do their program at the library in the evening. So
Oh,
anyway,
that's
that's,
great.
yeah,
That's
so
so
that's
great.
what we're pursuing.
Collaboration,
Yeah.
wonderful. Good. Okay. Moving on to the Friends of the Library.
I
Anything?
don't think there's any new updates. The scholarship applications
Mhm.
from,
Mhm.
the Friends are seeking scholarship applications from high school seniors, and the deadline for the submissions is April 3rd.
And I'm not sure how the foreign film program, how that went. That was in the month of February.
Yeah, it
So-
was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think on average, we had 20 to 25 people
Mhm.
coming every Sunday, which is not too bad considering we've
Right.
not offered this for the past
Right.
3 years.
And I think the big news is the success of the bookstore,
Yes.
which
yeah,
has
that's
really, really has been very well received. Including, I've had people from other communities who've said, oh, I read about, or I heard about, or I was in that your library, and I saw this bookstore, and how great that is, so, yeah.
That was a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot less work than for the book sale.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such an
Absolutely.
undertaking.
Okay, moving on to policies. We don't
Nothing
really have
new.
anything new
Nothing
tonight.
new, no.
Okay. And miscellaneous, we need to review and approve the FY '24 service calendar.
I highlighted the Christmas one, Saturday, December
Mm.
23rd,
Mhm.
because the town, they don't declare it as a holiday because, I don't think other departments are open on Saturday. I think that's something that the trustees can approve if you think so. Because Sunday is December 24th and Monday is Christmas.
Oh, I would approve the 23rd, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we need to take a vote on that? I think we.
Yes,
I think of the whole calendar, right?
I think so. Yeah.
It'd be nice to have, for the staff anyway, to have the 26th off too, but I guess that's asking for.
That's Tuesday.
Stretching it,
Yeah.
yeah, stretching it a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always hard to go
I
back to
know.
work.
Yeah, and this year the select board has approved Monday, July 3rd as a day off.
Oh, okay.
July
good.
4th
Okay.
is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
Oh, so that's
approved
good.
that. Yeah.
That's good. Good.
I just ask, I'm curious about Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
Do people express a preference for Wednesday and Thursday versus Thursday and Friday? Thanksgiving Day and the day after?
I think everyone would be happy to have Friday off, but,
Yeah.
but it's not,
Not
it's not been
possible.
done.
Okay.
I mean, even the town is open, so that would be
Oh,
something
right.
the select
Oh,
board
right,
would have to
okay.
decide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's
I know.
keep
But
our
they-
ears
they do have the block of
listening, and if the
Tuesdays.
select board agrees, then we can agree.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Do they have all full day Wednesday off?
Wednesday we are open till 5
Till 5. yeah.
instead of 9. Yeah, so that's,
Yep.
Mm.
Couldn't make it, right? Like the schools. Oh, the school's off all day, that's right. Oh, well. Or even 4.
That's a lot of
You're
pies
pushing
to
your luck,
cook.
Joan.
I am, but I just think about all the people that have
I
so
know.
much to do.
I know.
Not me.
Well,
Not me, I don't have to
it
cook.
precludes travel for a lot of people. That's what I was
that too, yeah.
Yeah, it does. Can we make that decision, or does it
Yeah,
have to
can
come?
we, can we do that?
Can we do that, or does it have to go through the town?
I don't know, I don't know, I would think we could do it. I mean, we decide when to close on snow days and that kind of
Right.
thing. I don't want
But
to
we
create
have-
any
yeah.
hard feelings, so
I don't think
whether-
we've ever closed when they are open though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Because we,
Yeah, that's true, that could be a
Yep.
That's
problem.
it.
Yep, you don't wanna,
Confusing.
Makes it complicated.
yeah.
But that's a good question.
What time does
Yes.
the town close that day?
they work till 4:30 and we work till 5, so it's just a
On
half an
Wednesday?
hour. I mean, they generally
They
close
always
at
every
4:30,
day.
Close at
every day,
4:30.
Oh,
right?
That's their
Because they
regular
start
time.
at 8.
All day.
Yeah.
We work 9 to 5, I mean, for the public.
Mm. Well,
Yeah, the
everybody
day
had-
after Thanksgiving would be great
Oh,
if,
Oh, I know.
if
Yeah.
the town approved it.
Yeah.
That would be.
What are the, I'm just curious as to what the usage is like on the day after.
Oh, usage, if
Thanksgiving.
we're open, we.
It's
You're
really
busy,
busy.
yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
And then schools are off, so parents
Right.
get
Yeah,
their
that's
kids
true.
here,
Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of
okay,
people
well,
do.
that says a lot right there then.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, then I move to approve the library calendar for 2024.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. No, we didn't, did we? We didn't review, your flyer, the flyer, Shrewsbury Library, how many
Yeah.
visitors came
Oh,
and that kind
yeah.
of a
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Check, yeah.
I was just impressed with all the programs and how many people attended them.
Yeah. Yeah, 2,400.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wow.
It's always worth, I think, reading this.
I do too.
For the,
just
Right.
to
yeah.
remind ourselves and
Yep.
anyone who's tuning in
Mhm.
how used this library is.
You know what I would love to see is a month-to-month graph.
Mm.
Just to see how it goes, you know, I think it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me, that's, I'm used to doing that in my work, but you know, a graph would be great.
I was just gonna say that.
See what trends are, you know,
Yeah,
and,
a
what
real
have you.
visual, yeah.
I think it's going up.
Well,
30,000.
It's hard to tell when you just look at a month
Yeah,
at a
that's
time.
true.
Is there somebody who could graph it out for
I'm
us?
just making a note, yeah.
Okay.
But in February, which is a short month, 30,265 visitors.
Mhm.
That's a lot of people.
Mhm. And 141 new patrons.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was a cold and dreary month. Everybody was looking for something to read.
It's pretty impressive for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, moving on to, we need to discuss if Hank Philippi Ryan may sell a book at her speaker series event that's being hosted by the foundation
On May 24th.
on May 24th.
I move that we allow
Yeah.
Hank Philippi Ryan to sell books at her presentation.
Sure.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is an update on the strategic planning process.
So we had some of the staff and a couple of the trustees and myself, we had a meeting with our consultant Barbara, and we drafted or tried to draft a vision statement and a mission statement. One of the things we noticed was, as we read, she gave us some samples of other libraries' vision and mission statements, and we looked at our current one, and we all liked what we do have right now. And but we thought it should be strengthened, and we're planning for the next 5 years, so we did come up with some more phrases, words that we could add or tweak it so that it becomes stronger. So I have now about 5 or 6 options, and I will make the executive decision and develop a vision and mission statement. And at the next meeting, I was wondering if we could invite Barbara to attend the meeting on Zoom. She'll only join on Zoom for the second half of the meeting at 7:30 or
Yeah, I think that
7:45
would
or
be-
something.
Yeah.
And by then I will have a strategic framework to share and the vision and mission statements. And we can just chat with her too.
Now, all your interactions with her have been Zoom, right?
All have been Zoom, I've not met her
And
in
that's worked
person.
well?
It has
Yes,
worked
okay.
very well, yes. Yes, all our focus groups and the public advisory committee, all of the meetings have been on
She's
Zoom.
very skilled at moving into groups.
She
Yes,
is,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
does she do these Zoom groups?
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
did that,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, she was really good at that. It was easy to do, and we get a notice when the time was almost up, and, yeah, so.
Yeah, I was impressed how she kept time
Yeah.
That too.
throughout the
Yeah,
meeting,
she
yeah.
did.
And her presence next month will be to kind of
Just
to
summarize what's been done.
done so far from
Yes,
her end
yeah,
and.
yeah, and if you have any specific questions, you can ask her.
Okay,
Or you can tell me in advance and I'll share
Okay.
share them with her.
okay,
So at the April 25th meeting,
yep,
I'll invite her.
excellent, good, okay. Next item is to report on the meeting with the DEIB committee to present the land acknowledgement statement.
Do you
Yeah,
want to
sure.
talk about
So
it?
Priya and I did meet, I can't remember when it was, feels like 10 years ago, but it was
I
only
think it
probably
was
a couple
March
of weeks
10th,
ago.
March 10th.
We met with a committee, and again, it's a newly formed committee, so I think that they're just kind of forming their agenda and their processes. But they were very interested in the land acknowledgement statement, asked a lot of very good questions, I thought. What their intention, as I took it, was that they really wanted to get some more input from the Nipmuc tribe elders. Although we've reached out to them, we hadn't heard anything back. So before we proceed to really get some real inclusion from them as to what is important if we are gonna go forth as a town to adopt this land acknowledgement statement. They certainly welcomed that we return to a future meeting to discuss this, including other trustees or employees.
Sure.
So that's kind of where it stands right now. They meet on a monthly basis, but I believe that they do work in the interim. So we'll know more, I think, in a month or so. Is there anything to add to that?
No, I think you summarized that. I was hoping I could attend that meeting
Yeah.
at the library, the Project Mission.
It was really good.
Was it
You-
good?
did you
Really
come?
good.
Oh, wonderful, so you
Yeah.
got to.
And somebody from the
attend.
committee, I believe, did talk
Yes,
to
Cheryl did,
Cheryl.
Yes.
yeah.
And say we
Oh,
were,
good.
the town
Yeah,
was working on the.
unfortunately, I
land
wasn't able to come in that day.
acknowledgement.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing, she had video and photos of the
Mhm.
mission and
Wow.
it was neat.
Were there many people at the present?
Yeah, it was
It was
well
good,
attended.
25 or 30.
Wonderful,
It was full. It was
Great.
pretty full.
great,
And she had brought some artifacts and things too that people could look at after. It was well done.
wonderful. I was sorry to have missed it.
She
Okay.
may do it again.
Oh, good. I
And
hope
they
so.
may also do like a canoe burning, they wanna set that up down by the lake at some point, like I don't know how long it would take to organize it, and, it takes about a week. So they would need to whoever's doing it would need to camp out, cause it's like around the clock. They
Oh.
burn it, then they scrape it, burn, scrape, burn, scrape.
wow.
So that seems pretty special.
Oh,
They're
wow.
able to-
And this is
to do
like
that.
Quinsigamond,
Mhm.
they do that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So, something to
That's
watch
neat.
out
Yeah,
for.
definitely.
And this
Sure.
was, her first presentation in Shrewsbury, like I think she lives in Belchertown or something,
Okay,
and so she had
Belcher.
done a lot of presentations around there, so it was neat to
Oh,
be
good.
right
Yeah.
here.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, great, great. That's what we kind of talked about at the meeting, was to make this a living document, so to speak, you know, to make it educational as well, so it's a good example of
Right.
doing that.
And I think it's really important that it is the first step, you know, it's not an end point, it's an
Right.
opening to
Mhm.
what,
Right,
so what, like what are, we're
Right.
putting this out there, but where is it leading us?
other
Right.
discussions and,
Mhm.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good. Good, all right. Next item is to discuss the situation on Fridays and school early release days.
We're back to that.
Yeah,
And rightly so, I think.
yeah, yeah. How have the
Yeah.
past couple of
Yeah.
Fridays been?
Last couple have been pretty quiet. Claire was here last Friday.
It was
and
quiet
was-
last
It was,
time. I understood there were several earlier ones that
Yeah.
were pretty wild.
Not so
that's
quiet.
good.
And actually, it was interesting, a policeman stopped by, got out of the car, came in, walked, kind
Yeah.
of did a little round. I thought
Yeah,
that
he
was
did.
actually.
Oh, they
did
do
the
that
Friday
every week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that the Friday I was here too.
Yeah, yeah, so, that's a help, I think, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the week before, even though there were 2 policemen who walked by, they made a mess in the men's bathroom.
What did they?
And they actually, I think, threw paper at one of the older
Yeah.
gentlemen who were in there. He came and complained.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I know that you contacted Joe Sawyer. Did you
Right.
hear anything back?
Oh, he had asked the principals to send
Okay.
send a message to families, so that parents can advise their kids on how to behave when they go to the library. I think that did have an effect, because that was after the early release day. We've had 2 Fridays,
Mhm.
and generally the kids have been better behaved.
Okay.
But
My
so I
concern,
think,
my concern is the early release days.
right.
Yeah,
There
because
are
those
just-
are longer
There are
periods.
just too many kids
Yeah.
with longer periods of time. And
Yes.
I almost think it's just an accident waiting to happen. And, I mean, the child who gets hurt, we're gonna be to blame.
Right.
Even though, I mean, one of the women, and I don't know her name, who works at the desk, she was wonderful. She just went around and, I would get up to,
Yes.
Yeah, who is that? That's,
She's terrific.
And-
Yeah.
and she's terrific,
Yeah.
and she's
Really good.
great with the kids.
Yes.
She is.
She has a great way, because, I would get up and kind of look at what they were doing as they, they come in that side door with food, so of course I would get up to talk to them, and by the time you got to talk to them, they'd either hidden the food or eaten it, so.
well, and the food is an issue too.
Food
because
is
they just
definitely an
make
issue on early release days, yeah.
Really, just a
Yes.
mess.
Yes.
And I watched a girl on her phone run out to talk to somebody, never looked, she just ran out the door into the parking lot, and I thought, that she could have been hit, not I mean, somebody coming along wouldn't realize, because she just went right out into it, when she
Yeah.
came back in, she was with some other people, so I didn't want to say anything to her at that point, but that's,
Yeah, we are concerned about the safety of the children and the safety of others in the library.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
And they're all on their phones, so somebody's outside and they talk to that person, or somebody comes back and they go running out,
Yes.
and it's, I mean, they're kids, they're middle school mostly, and that's how they behave, but when it's that many of them, it's just putting a burden on the library.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you can do, but I was telling this to somebody, and their suggestion was that you do a lottery. And if kids wanna come, you send so many tickets to the school, and they have to give their ticket when they come in.
I don't like that.
If they don't have a ticket, they don't come in.
I don't like that.
I think some form of identity
Yeah.
might be a good thing, like the high school students have an
Yeah.
ID. If the middle school children also were given an ID, maybe
Or
that's something
even
we can
something-
discuss
Yeah, if
with
they wanna
the
come to
school
the library, they have
superintendent.
a ID.
An ID.
Yeah.
I think accountability is a big issue, and I really would think we should have an agreement. This is what we expect on this, you sign off on it, and you have read it, and you understand it, and then when you come on those days, I would have them sign in. These are all minor kids, it's good to know where they are.
Right.
I think the parents might actually appreciate knowing that.
And if the other thing is they could read it, sign off on it,
And get a little card.
And get a
gives-
card,
Gives
and
them
then
a pass
right.
to come in.
right,
Yeah.
and give them a pat, because I
have
think,
read and understand.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And agree to abide.
Yeah. Except they'd never have their cards with them when they came.
Well, we could look them up. We
We
could
can
look
look 'em
them
up.
up. We could look them up.
We can sit there with, okay,
They
tell
could have
me
it
your
on their
name.
phones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly.
Put it on your
Show
phone.
us on your phone or.
Take a picture of it and put it on your phone.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was, you know, and I was not here that day. I wasn't here the early release day, but the day Friday I was here, every employee came over to tell me what the early release day was like. So it meant that they were nervous about it. And I think we have to show that we're listening and we have to have some way of supporting them.
And there probably should be 2 people here on early release
Yeah, that's
days.
true too.
Well, I'm up next for the next early release day, which is next Tuesday, so I'm
Oh, maybe I
hoping
can, I
that,
might be able to come next Tuesday.
but speaking of that, I think we're pretty good for trustees covering, except for May and June, so if you wouldn't mind looking at
The
the
calendar?
spreadsheet
Okay.
again, I'd appreciate
April
it.
21st is during vacation.
I'm sorry?
Oh, it's
April 21st is during
Mhm.
April vacation, so I'm not sure that
Probably
Friday
don't
needs
really
to be
need
covered.
any
Oh,
more
no,
than
I
that.
don't think, is that on the calendar?
I think somebody's signed
I
up.
have to look on
Oh,
that,
okay.
yeah.
I can't open it right now, so I can't see it, but, yeah, I mean, I think it's not just the behaviors, but especially on early release days, it's the numbers.
It's
I think
crowds,
we're
yeah.
over
Crowd control,
people.
yeah.
Well,
You
that's
know?
it, I bet we have
Yeah.
too many people in the
Yeah.
library.
And we're also not able, because as you said, Joan, they're in and out so often. I don't know how we're able to adhere to our 2-hour unsupervised.
You can't,
Right.
it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah.
So
You
honestly.
definitely have to have them sign in then.
Yeah,
I didn't know we
I mean,
limited it to 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Our
that's
policy says that
Yeah.
children in grades
That's
5
right.
through 8 can only be in the library unaccompanied for 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
So parents should be aware of this.
That should definitely
And
go out to
pick up the
parents, yeah.
kids, so
It was last year, we communicated
also.
that out this year also, so. But honestly, some of these days have been so horrendous, that in my own mind, I've thought of different pretty drastic things to do, such as not allowing children under high school age here without an adult supervisor. I don't wanna do that, but, some days really are quite chaotic, and as Priya said, really, it affects the whole library environment, and I don't think that's fair to anybody.
What
So-
if there was like not a lottery, but like first come, first serve? So if you had to sign in, the first 50 kids who get here have to sign in, and there's no more spots.
They're
Yeah.
already run over. And it makes it into an
And I
extra.
think
That, you
Yes.
know, the thing is that there are a lot of kids who come in and they're very respectful. They, you know, maybe they go in and do with a craft, and there's usually craft
Right.
set up. They go in and they do that, or they go in to the gaming part over there. So, you know, you don't want to penalize the kids that are actually playing by the rules, because that's not fair to them.
It's not, but on the other hand, unless we can get a handle on this, we have to do something.
Can we make
Yeah.
it more aware that there are cameras out here and we'll be monitoring and, you know, we can identify, and
Yeah.
after the fact, we will be able to identify kids and,
If
I
they're not
don't like
deterred by
to-
the police, I don't think they're gonna be deterred by.
Right,
camera.
yeah.
well,
yeah.
no, but we can identify and then we can use that as a record that they should not be in the library, they have a timeout from the library or something of that sort. Because you can
And
identify
are we
them.
actually able to enforce that? If we can't enforce it, if nothing comes of it ever?
I mean,
I
it's
mean,
the only
we
way
could
we have to,
communicate with the teachers, the
I think we
principals.
can
And
say
parents.
with the parents.
yeah, with the
Say
parents.
to the parent,
It's not the teacher's
I mean,
responsibility.
No.
we had a
Principals.
situation like this years ago when I was in Holden. And we had the parents come in and see the video of what their kids were doing.
Yeah,
And it was very interesting because a parent would come in and be annoyed at the principal because that wasn't their kid.
My kid wouldn't do that.
And then they'd leave very quietly, like a little lamb, because they got to see just exactly what their child was doing. Right on the video, giving the finger. You know what I mean? Oh, my child would never do that. Well, guess what? They did. And so I think that that isn't a bad idea, but I think that then when their behavior is not acceptable, then it has to be, come and see what we're seeing.
But we have to be able to identify
I
the
was just
child
gonna say,
Yeah.
and
it's one
then
thing to have
reach out to the parents.
a video,
Yeah.
but
You know.
how do you know who that is?
You know, I think parents think that they're in a safe place.
Right.
Mhm.
And they're with their
Absolutely.
friends.
Mhm.
So, and in many respects, some are, but
Right.
some are not.
Right.
And that's what I worry about, the ones who are not.
Right.
I mean, like I watched a sixth grader who was enthralled with the 3D machine. And
Right.
the fellow came down to help him, and he asked, when I said to him, "Where are you going?" And he got so upset. And he said, "Well, I'm just going up to find this." So I said, "Fine, go." And he was the nicest kid, and when he came down,
I know who he is, he was here Friday.
and he showed me what he built and what he was doing, and, you know,
He
it
told me
was-
all about how it worked.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the nice part to see. And his
Yeah.
father came and picked him up and came inside and picked him
Yeah,
up, and
yeah.
you know, and it was like, well, that's the kind of kid that you want to be able to have. But the ones that were ready to give him a hard time, I was
Yeah.
keeping my eye on them because they weren't going to give him a hard time. As far as I was
Not while you
concerned.
were there.
You know, it's aware, when we went to the finance committee, it was clear to me that several members of the finance committee were quite aware of the situation on Fridays.
Right.
Oh, good.
You know, so, should we be asking the PTAs to help us, be monitoring the situation?
Well, we talked about
We
that
did
as
talk
well,
about that.
and my understanding is that the PTAs are not that active of a group.
Oh.
There are very few
So-
members for the middle school PTOs.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
But Priya had just said maybe we need to meet this summer with the superintendent and other school administrators and other town leaders to
And
really.
the police chief,
The
he
police
was
chief,
willing
yeah,
to do
yeah,
that, he was
yeah.
willing to come to
Really?
This is not really
This
the
is not-
trustee's job description.
Right, I know, we
Right.
appreciate all that the trustees are doing,
Yeah.
you know, monitoring on Fridays and early release days. And this is not, fundamentally, this is not the job of librarians either, to be
Right.
babysitting
Mhm.
a
Right.
bunch of
Right.
kids. I mean, we are here to serve the whole community. We welcome everyone to the library, and we can interact with them if they have something that they need to know about the library. But to chase kids, follow them into the bathrooms and see what they're doing because they're messing it up,
Mhm.
or making it unsafe for other folks in the library.
And the way they
That
use
is not
the
correct.
parking lot, you know, as
Everything,
people
yes.
come in, you know, I mean, as I said, it could be an accident waiting to
Mhm.
happen through,
Yeah.
through no fault of the person driving in.
Right.
And the child just, I mean, I just watched this girl and I thought, I hope nobody's coming either way.
Yeah, and people in the community are definitely aware because
Yeah.
it happens all along the way from the middle school to the library.
Right.
So
Well,
it's
I have to
not unique
confess, I
to the
needed to
library.
return a book to the library. And I was not coming Friday afternoon. It was gonna be late, because I was not coming Friday afternoon.
Yes.
I'll be here when I need to be here, but I'm not making a special trip.
You don't get fines anymore.
Huh?
No fines anymore.
I know, but
You wanted to avoid the
Right,
Fridays.
I wanted to avoid the Friday crowd.
Well, just as a reminder, the time limit is 2 hours, so early release days, if students arrive by 1 o'clock, they need to leave by 3. And that's really the parents' or the family's responsibility to make sure that that happens.
I
And-
pulled up the volunteer sheet,
Yeah,
and so you are on for April 4th by
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
for the early
Yeah.
release. And the rest of April is taken care of, nobody is signed up for the 21st, so the
Yeah.
people need that was vacation, so.
Yeah.
But there's no one signed up in May.
right.
Okay, so I
Right,
have to
so
check
if
my
you wouldn't
calendar
mind
and I'll
just-
do May.
Claire, am I on in April sometime?
Yes, you are, April 14th.
Okay.
Does school end on the 9th? Oh, the last 15th, oh, the last day of school, you should be here.
The 15th, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, that Friday before
Yeah.
April vacation might be a
yeah,
little wild too.
that's the what?
But the
what
crowd may
14th?
also be smaller as the weather gets better
It will,
outside.
that's true.
Yeah,
I think a broader meeting would be really helpful, because this
Right.
this is really a town-wide issue,
Mhm.
and because
Mhm.
we don't have a youth center or,
Right.
something like that, this is we're filling a gap.
Right.
So I think getting input from other stakeholders would help, because this is, how many times have we
Right.
talked about it? It's just
It's
tricky.
exhausting, it
Mhm.
really is, yeah.
And we never had a youth center
No.
where kids could gather.
No.
We never did. I mean, I can remember when I was in Shrewsbury, and it was an early release day, and, kids would come in with a note that they didn't have to take the bus. So you had to make sure that we had that note. And then you'd just watch them go down the street, and you knew they were gonna hit the center of town in mass. But that's,
Yeah, Yeah.
but they didn't have a place to go, so they had lunch and then they went home.
yeah.
And now we've become
It's because we're so lovely.
exactly. I mean, you wanted
Such a
them to
good place to
come.
hang out.
I mean, we didn't have room before.
No.
There
Mhm.
wasn't
At the old
really
library.
space
You know?
Yeah.
for them to be, and now, it does help to keep them to this
Yeah.
section. I think
Yeah.
that's definitely helping. I think the activities are helping. I think
Right.
But I do think we
Staff
need to
has
talk to
come up.
the town about it, because
Mhm.
we're taking on the responsibility of being a teen center, and we're not a teen center.
No.
We're a library that wants teens to come. So I do think that's a good idea to have a conversation.
Yeah,
I'll be happy to come this summer.
good. Thank you.
Let me know when it is and I'll show up.
All right.
I'm sure you want Nancy's spot.
Right.
No, time for new blood. But, having been both a principal here and a trustee, I'll be happy to.
You wear many good hats. Okay,
Thank you.
I guess the subject will continue, but that's okay. All right, is there anything else to talk about tonight?
The New York Times. I think I had shared it with all of you
Yeah.
via an email, but we do have access to the digital edition of the New York Times
That's great.
and the New York Times Cooking. So it's a little bit of a process to be able to access it at home. You have to get a 24-hour access code, create an account, and then you go to the library reference and research page, scroll down to newspapers, find the New York Times, and then redeem it. And every day you get a code. Every 24 hours you have to get a new code to be able to access that day's newspaper and the cooking section. And with this, you can also access the archives going back to 1851.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Which I think is very,
That's great.
Yeah.
which is great. I can share this with you if you just write it
That's
down.
really a benefit
Yes.
to the.
Yes,
Yes,
I mean,
it
is.
New York
Sure
Times
is.
digital
Yeah.
edition, yes.
Because I pay to have mine.
I know.
I know, it's pretty expensive
Well, I get it.
for
It's
the
just
library too.
Yeah.
It is
No, I get
expensive.
the weekend. I get
It's
it for the weekend.
$2,500 for just the New York Times and then $2,000 for the cooking section.
Oh,
Wow.
I'll join the cooking, because I'm not paying for the cooking. I'll pay for the other, but not for the cooking.
$2,000.
Is there a certain number, like a certain number of codes per
I
day, per week?
think it
per-
is, there is no limit.
Okay, as long as it goes
As long
through
as
the
it
library.
goes through, yes,
Mm.
yes. And then we have a much less expensive database that we now have access to, and that's A to Z World Food and A to Z Food America from World Trade Press.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So we might consider not renewing the New York Times Cooking Edition if this one proves to be good.
Yeah, that's
You know, if it's a good alternative,
Right.
so,
Is there a way for us to keep track of how many people?
yeah,
Yeah, you
people
must
get all
get a
the
report,
stats,
yeah.
yeah,
Good.
they
Good.
get the report, yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Does that come under the materials
it
budget?
does, it does, all the
Okay,
databases.
good. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
Okay, so again, we're looking for somebody to fill a vacancy. And if you could let us know by April 14th, that would be great. And our next meeting is May 23rd.
April
April
25th.
23rd.
Oh,
Did
Oh,
you, did you miss a month?
Next meeting, April 25th. I did that last month too.
You
I'm
did,
like
you did.
Fast forwarding my life.
Maybe it's the way that
No, it's don't miss me. April 25th is our next meeting. Okay, very good. Well, with that, I guess we're ready to entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved.
I second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.